Hi, Tim Two Wheels here. Today, I'm installing a set of Machine Art Moto advanced hand guards on the bike. Stick around, we'll get started right after this. So to start with, we're going to unbox here. The advanced guards come nicely packaged. Let's open them up. And first thing we get is our instructions. Now, one key thing, since this is for the liquid-cooled GS Adventure model, you want to know that it is a slightly different kit than the standard that was out there. And the difference being that this kit will have this addendum in here, or supplement, for the instructions. And you'll notice it's the fitment for the 2014 Plus BMW GS Adventure liquid-cooled. And I won't get into all the detail just yet. We'll cover it as we're installing it. But basically, you get new end caps or bar spacers on the end, and they give you some slightly different shims as you put this on to make sure that it has a better fit. So let's set those aside. You do want to read those and be familiar with them. But one thing that I'm impressed with is how they package. So you open it up, and let's open up this side. They come nicely packaged. In the middle, you have your box, very nice box, and this is the fit pack. So this is unique to each bike. Handguards are essentially the same, but the fit pack is really where the difference is, and it's bike specific. So we open up the fit pack, and we have our miscellaneous pieces. They're all nicely machined aluminum. And over here, we have our new bar spacers, bar end bolts, and a few other miscellaneous parts and pieces that are all essential. And in this pocket we have the actual plastic spacers that go under the inboard mounting points. And we'll go through all that here in just a moment. It all comes very nicely packaged, high quality boxes and everything, so really nicely done. Okay, now for the main attraction, here are the guards themselves. They are sealed in plastic bags here. So let's go ahead and pull one of these out. And you can see they're very nicely finished. The cool thing about these are inside here you see these adjustments. So first of all, this is I had talked to guys who think this is all plastic. And it's not. This is a cast and machined aluminum guard that goes all the way around, so it's incredibly rugged. Now this interior piece is a polymer type of material, a plastic type of material, as well as the guard that raises. But the main frame itself is aluminum and heavy done. And you can see here on the end it has some nice machine work, so regardless of which way it's pointing, it says advance. So you loosen the 3 thumb screws, and these thumb screws will not come all the way out. So even if you turn them all the way out, they stop, and they're captured. This section can come all the way out, but as you see, it's a captured thumb screw, so you're not going to lose the thumb screws. And you can run it like this if you want, or if it's really hot weather and you want to get some extra airflow, you can loosen these little clips, and this section comes out as well, and you can reattach it so you don't lose it. So in really hot weather, you still have your protective aluminum frame, but this opens up to let air flow through to your hands on the grips. So very clever design. All right, and of course we have 2 of them. Here's the second one that we'll install on the other side, and that's all you have in the packaging. All right, so our next step, let's go ahead and get started removing the OEM handguards and get these puppies installed. So here we are at the bike, and I'm going to start with the left-hand side of the bar. So to begin with, we want to get the old OEM guards off. And so to start with, I'm going to take a T25, Torx 25, and remove this screw on this front side. Nice and easy. Pull that out. Won't have to worry about reusing those. And then a Torx 45 socket to remove this end bar bolt here. Now you'll notice I put a cloth, the instructions do recommend this, but I put a soft cloth or towel over my tank and fairing, and that's just in case you drop something while you're assembling it. You don't want to scar your bike up. Now the OEM guards are plastic, and in my personal opinion, a rather poor excuse for a handguard. Now I'm going to remove this along with the end weight, the bolt, and everything, and set that aside. Because Machine Art Moto sent us new bar end spacers or bar end weights to put on here. And here's why I say they're practically useless. First of all, they have some protection inside, but on the outside, a lot of wind gets through. And if you've ever ridden with these in the wintertime, your hands will get very cold. Even with the heated grips, it does a nice job. But as far as wind protection for your hand, this is not much. Additionally, this is plastic. The whole thing is plastic, and it will flex and doesn't really offer you a whole lot of protection if you hit hard on this. So that's one of the reasons I'm replacing it. Now that that's off, the last piece for the OEM guard is this extension that runs from the mirror down out here to support it. So what I'm going to do is remove this mirror. We can start by sliding this rubber grommet up and off of the mirror to expose the nuts here. And so I want to get a couple of wrenches to remove that. So with a couple of 14mm wrenches, we're going to loosen this nut here on the mirror. Now there's a couple of ways you can do this. You can loosen this top lock nut, break it loose, and that way you can just turn the bottom one. Or if you want, you can just loosen the bottom one and turn your handlebars so that when you spin the whole mirror, you're going to clear your windshield, and we just want to take this mirror off. So as we loosen this, you want to hang on. There is a black washer here. So as we take the mirror off, you want to hang on to that so you don't lose it. And now this piece should just lift straight off of this standard that's on here. And we'll put that aside because that's part of the handguard that we won't be needing. I'm taking the original T25 and just threading it back in here so it's not lost if we ever want to put the OEM handguards back on. One special note here. Part of the addendum or the supplement for the GS guide here, you may need to adjust your mounts to make room so that the guards properly fit. I just want to show you on the Advanced Moto Art, they circle the screw here that holds the fog lamp switch gear on. But they indicate, it says remove the M6 screw that retains the fog lamp. It is not an M6, it is actually a Torx 25. And down here they stipulate it does expose the two screws that hold the actual clutch lever mount, the rear view mirror, and the brake reservoir. They also refer to that as an M6, and it is not. It is actually a T30 underneath there. So just wanted to point out those corrections for you. So enough correcting the manufacturer. Let's go ahead and remove this. So again, this is just a plastic switch housing. The GS Adventures, those that come with the fog lights, the OEM fog lights mounted to the crash bars, are operated by this button right here. And this is just a plastic housing that fits over top of the brake lever bracket. So I'm going to remove that and just set the screw aside. Now, in here, you'll see these two, and again, they're not T6s, they are the T30s. And we just want to loosen those. So I have that loose just enough so that we can move this in and out, wiggle it around. It's just to give us enough space to mount our inboard mounting location for the handguards. Next, we want to position our mounts. I call them the inboard mounts, but basically it's the mount that goes on the inner part of the handlebar, not out here. And as you can see, you receive two. They're identical mounts, so we're just going to take one of these for right now. And then you'll have two pieces that look like this. And for the GS Adventure, they're recommending using the center mounting position. So there's a small screw. It just simply fits inside this piece. And then there is a set screw that goes in here to lock it into position. So the set screw is the small screw that comes in this little Ziploc bag here. And as is most things on the BMW, a T25 is what fits this screw. So we're going to take this, we're going to get this guy started in here. In the center position, you'll see there's 3 holes in this, 1, 2, 3. We're going to align the center position, insert the screw. Okay, so now we have our center screw aligned. So you also have a small bag of screws like this. We want to take 2 of these cap head screws and use those for to join that mount together. Okay, so with the adapter, when it's together with the screws, of course, it's going to look like that. But because we have tapered bars on the BMW GS and GS Adventure, there's 2 types of grommets or spacers that are used with it. So in the package, you'll see 2 that look like this, that are essentially a single piece unit, and you'll see 2 that are halves. Now the half units, or these, are used for the 7/8 inch bars. We will not be using those. What we want are these adapters that take into account the taper. So on the outside, you'll notice this face out and use with taper bar. So when they go on the bar, you want that to face outward and into the adapter. So we're going to slip this over the bar first. And then this is going to go in here, and the top half will go there, and that'll be the orientation. And if I have enough hands, I'm going to get a screw started to hold that assembly together. So there's one of them, and this will be the last one. And again, it's a T25 that fits these screws. So I have that on here, and it's not going anywhere, so it's loose, but until I get it adjusted. Okay, now to attach the actual handguard here, again, we're going to use a couple of pieces that, well, all the hardware is supplied with the Machine Art Moto kit. So we got a new end screw or bolt, we got a new spacer, and then our washer, adapter, and then we have the new bar end spacer. So as you can see, this is the factory OEM bar end spacer, and this is the one that comes with the Machine Art Moto kit. So it's quite a bit longer than the factory OEM. So what we're going to do is, with this spacer in place here, we're going to go ahead and put our bolt through, and then put our bar end spacer on with the larger part is inboard toward the grip. And then we can come in here and start to hand tighten this. So I'm just going to get this close here, not going to tighten it up, just get it almost snug. But I'm leaving it, as you can see, I'm leaving it loose to where I can work this around. And then using the other 2 screws that have this kind of a slightly tapered wide head on it, that's what we'll use to actually connect the handguard to the inboard bracket. One of the cool things about the Machine Art Moto kit is the shape of this bracket. You get that U that allows it to go under your cables and lines and not interfere with anything, but yet give you a very solid support. So taking this screw, putting it in the front here, and then adjusting my inboard mount And I think right there is where I want these to ride. Kind of holding this in now. I'm going to tighten these other T25 screws on the clamp because I have it pretty well positioned where I want it to be, making sure that it's not interfering with any of the lines. So we're going to snug this up, tighten that up. I think the positioning is good. Loosen these so I'll see how far up this goes. Block the wind. Far enough down to offer good protection. So again, the documentation is off. The end bolt that the handlebar end bolt that they provide you is incorrect. It's actually an 8mm hex. So out of all the Torx that we have on this bike, now we have one hex thrown in. And I'm just going to snug this up. There we go. And that's good and solid on there. So if we tighten up the thumb screws, there's no rattle whatsoever. So now I'm just going to adjust my brake lever accordingly so that it's not hitting anything and so that it's in the right position. And then I'll snug those back up. Okay, so here's the finished product mounted on the bike. I've got the inboard mount. It goes underneath the wiring. One thing to note, when I put the gear switch or the fog light switch back on, I did need to make sure it passed through the loop of the handguard mount and then underneath. So it's a good thing you have this loose. You can lift it up. But everything is tightened back up. Everything is installed. It's nice and neat. If I want to raise the guard, it's just a matter of pulling these up and then retightening those thumb screws. And so you have a nice protective surface there. So the fit and finish overall is really nice. I'm very pleased with the quality of it. These things are rather expensive as far as handguards go, but for the versatility that you get, I'm quite pleased with it. So now all I have to do is just repeat the process the same for the right hand side, and I'll be done. Good to go. So this is Tim Two Wheels. That's how I did it. Thanks for watching.